Welcome back, YouTube, to another episode here at WILDMAN Lives. I'm your host, WILDMAN. Now on today's episode, I went to the gym and I was doing back squats. Now lately, because I am a natural lifter, meaning I'm not using any PEDs, I'm just strictly on creatine, BCAAs, and taking whey protein when I'm working out, I find myself having a central nervous system fatigue struggle between my deadlift and my back squat. Now these are essentially two different movements. With a deadlift, it's more of a pull. You're pulling from the ground and getting it to your hips. And with a back squat, you're starting from out of a rack and you're descending and then using your legs to press back up. So really, those are two different movements. However, they both work your posterior chain. And as a result, I'm finding myself having to choose between doing a good deadlift or doing a good back squat. Now, my current goal is to work on my deadlift. I have a specific number that I want to hit with deadlift before I try to bring everything else up to par. So deadlift is number one for me. And so I need to take a back seat on the back squats. So what am I doing? Well, let's pop into the gym on this back squat day and I'll show you what I'm up to. So for today's giant set, I'm doing the back squat like I just said. But what I'm really trying to focus on is doing a 6-rep max. I'm not really too concerned about the reps in between. Typically when I'm doing tough 6, I like to do 6 reps as I'm going up, but I'm gonna do 3 and I'm gonna work my way up to that top set. And in between, I'm gonna be doing, as you can see, my friend is making sure that I'm doing it correctly, some pull-ups. And I'm also going to be doing some WILDMAN flags. Now these are actually called dragon flags, but a lot of people called me out saying that I use too much momentum. So I call them WILDMAN flags because they do carry over a lot in core stability when you're trying to do the back squat and other compound movements. And that's the giant set for the day. So I find my deadlift and my back squat are in a tug of war right now of which one's going to be better. For a while, my back squat was actually better than my deadlift. And a lot of people wonder, how is that? Isn't the back squat actually a lot harder? And the answer is no. It really depends on how you train. So back in my early days, I did a lot of squatting. My legs are very strong. And so I was always a naturally good squatter. And so I was always good and always wanted to perform the squat. And I wasn't really good at the deadlift. And I kind of felt like I was in a good place because I was able to do explosive movements like log cleans or axle cleans or Olympic cleans. And I was able to overhead press very well because I was a good squatter. I didn't feel like deadlift carried over very well into those lifts. And you'll see a lot of times in strongman competitions that explosive athletes who can lift rocks and are very good at log clean and press and other movements like that are really good at squatting, but they're detrimental at deadlifting. The only exception would be Hafthor Bjornsson, of course, but that's because that guy's a super freak. So since I'm a normal mortal person, I have to really balance out my workouts. And since the deadlift is my top priority, I have to take a back seat on the back squat because they both work your posterior chain, which is the back side of your body. And everything that I'm doing right now is centered around getting better at the deadlift. So even with the back squat, I'm doing more repetitions at a lighter weight. And here I'm only going to a 6-rep max when I get to 350 pounds. And that's only because I don't want to burn myself out when I go into my deadlift day. I want to make sure that I'm on par with training with deadlift. And if I fatigue my nervous system doing back squats, then my deadlift is going to suffer on those training days. And I want my training days with deadlift to be pristine right now and to keep rising so I can hit the number that I want to hit. Now, once I hit that deadlift number, then I'm going to try to keep and maintain that deadlift number and try to bring my back squat up the best that I can. And that's really going to be a lot of planning and programming. So I'll let you know how that goes. So this is actually my top set for the day, and it's 350 pounds. And obviously I can go heavier, but I don't see a point in it right now. I really don't want to tax out my posterior chain. And then the next time I go back to do my deadlifts, then I'm going to have some issues. But I was feeling it a lot in my left hip, and I was feeling it a lot in my hamstrings. So I was getting the workout and the pressure that I wanted, but I was doing it without totally burning out my central nervous system and jeopardizing my deadlift session for the next time. Now, once I was done with my final set there, I maintained the same giant set format, but this time I switched over into the leg press. Now, the leg press machine, in my opinion, really does not help your back squat. Those are two different movements. If anything, the leg press machine is a great variation lift to really excel your deadlift, because you're virtually in the same position when you're pulling a bar in that 45-degree angle that leg press machine puts you in. And once you get just past your knee, that's right about where you lock it out on a leg press machine. So this is a perfect opportunity to use this in the gym and to get better at my deadlift. And of course, the pull-ups and the WILDMAN flags as well are really more centered around getting better at my deadlift. And the back squat reps that I was doing today are all centered around making my deadlift better. So in this tug of war, the deadlift actually won. So there you have it. That's my current goal right now. It's a tug of war between those two lifts, and unfortunately deadlift is going to win right now, and back squat's gonna have to take a back seat. Does anybody have any guesses of what you think the number I'm trying to hit right now on deadlift? Leave a comment if you think you can guess it. Really appreciate everybody tuning into my channel today, and I will see you next time. Thank you.